What is spaced repetition?
A learning technique where material is reviewed at gradually increasing intervals. Each successful recall pushes the next review further into the future, optimizing long-term retention.
What is the forgetting curve, Ebbinghaus?
Hermann Ebbinghaus's finding that memory decays exponentially over time without reinforcement. We forget 50% within an hour and 70% within 24 hours of learning.
How does spaced repetition counteract the forgetting curve?
By timing reviews just before you would forget, each review resets and strengthens the memory trace, making the forgetting curve shallower with each repetition.
What is retrieval practice, the testing effect?
The act of recalling information from memory, rather than rereading, strengthens memory more effectively. Tests are not just assessments, they are powerful learning events.
What is interleaving in learning?
Mixing different topics or problem types within a study session, rather than blocking. Harder in the short term but leads to better long-term retention and transfer.
What is elaborative interrogation?
A study technique where you ask why and how questions about material to connect new information to existing knowledge and create deeper understanding.
What is the difference between massed practice and distributed practice?
Massed practice is cramming, studying a lot in one sitting. Distributed practice spreads study over time. Distributed practice leads to far better long-term retention.
What is the generation effect in learning?
Generating the answer yourself, even if incorrect, before seeing it produces better memory than simply reading the answer. Struggling to retrieve is beneficial.
What is desirable difficulty?
The principle that learning conditions that feel harder in the moment, retrieval practice, interleaving, spacing, often produce stronger long-term memory than easier conditions.
What is the AGES model of learning?
A neuroscience-based learning model, attention, focused generation, create your own connections, emotion, emotional engagement, spacing, distributed practice.
What is metacognition?
Thinking about your own thinking, being aware of how you learn, what you know and don't know, and how to regulate your learning strategies.
What is the Feynman technique?
Explain a concept in simple terms, as if to a 12-year-old, identify gaps in your understanding, go back and fill those gaps, then simplify again.
What is elaboration as a learning strategy?
Connecting new information to what you already know, asking yourself how and why things work, and creating detailed mental models that weave new ideas into existing ones.
What is concrete examples as a learning strategy?
Attaching specific, tangible examples to abstract concepts. The brain stores and retrieves concrete information more readily than abstract principles.
What is dual coding?
Combining verbal information with visual representations, diagrams, charts, mind maps. Processing information through two channels strengthens encoding and recall.
What is the serial position effect?
The tendency to remember items at the beginning, primacy effect, and end, recency effect, of a list better than items in the middle.
What is chunking?
Grouping individual pieces of information into larger, meaningful units, chunks, to overcome working memory limits. Experts chunk information from their domain automatically.
What is the difference between declarative and procedural memory?
Declarative memory stores facts and events, explicit. Procedural memory stores skills and habits, implicit. Learning strategies work differently for each type.
What is sleep's role in learning?
During sleep, especially deep sleep and REM, the brain consolidates memories, transferring information from short-term to long-term storage and integrating new knowledge.
What is the 80-20 rule applied to learning?
Focusing on the 20% of concepts that account for 80% of the results in a domain, identifying core principles and high-leverage knowledge first.
What is a learning sprint?
A focused period of intense study on one topic, e.g., 25 to 50 minutes, followed by a break, designed to maximize concentration and encoding.
What is the Pomodoro technique?
A time management method. Work for 25 minutes, 1 Pomodoro, take a 5-minute break, and after 4 Pomodoros take a longer 15 to 30-minute break.
What is the input versus output balance in learning?
Passive input, reading, watching, is far less effective than active output, writing, explaining, solving problems. Effective learners lean heavily toward output.
What is overlearning?
Continuing to practice beyond the point of initial mastery. It can automate skills and reduce forgetting, but has diminishing returns compared to spaced retrieval.
What is transfer-appropriate processing?
Memory is best retrieved when the conditions at recall match the conditions at encoding. Studying in conditions similar to the test or real-world application improves transfer.
What is worked example fading?
A teaching technique that starts with fully worked examples and gradually removes steps as the learner develops competency, scaffolding toward independent problem solving.
What is mind mapping and when is it useful?
A visual diagram that branches out from a central concept to related ideas. Useful for brainstorming, understanding relationships, and creating study overviews.
What is active recall versus passive review?
Active recall, flashcards, practice tests, requires you to retrieve information from memory. Passive review, rereading, highlighting, creates an illusion of learning without the same benefit.
What is the illusion of knowing?
The false sense of mastery that comes from familiarity with material, e.g., from rereading, without being able to actually retrieve or apply it.
What is intrinsic motivation in learning?
Learning driven by internal interest, curiosity, or satisfaction, as opposed to extrinsic motivation, grades, rewards. Intrinsically motivated learners tend to go deeper and retain more.
Why is active recall more effective than rereading?
Actively pulling information from memory strengthens retrieval paths better than passively seeing the material again.
What is chunking in learning?
Chunking groups information into meaningful units so the brain can process and remember it more easily.
Why should learners test themselves before they feel ready?
Early self-testing reveals gaps and creates stronger memory than waiting until the material feels familiar.
What is transfer in learning?
Transfer is the ability to apply knowledge or skill in a different context from where it was first learned.
Why are examples and non-examples useful together?
They help learners understand the boundaries of a concept instead of memorizing a single pattern.
What is overlearning?
Overlearning is continuing to practice a skill after initial mastery to improve reliability and retention.
Why should study sessions include rest?
Breaks protect attention, reduce cognitive fatigue, and improve the quality of later recall.
What is a study plan?
A study plan is a deliberate schedule of topics, review intervals, and practice methods matched to a goal.
Why is feedback important for learning?
Feedback helps correct errors before they harden into habits or misconceptions.
What is a retrieval cue?
A retrieval cue is a word, image, context, or association that helps you access a stored memory.
What is a strong learning strategy principle?
Make studying effortful enough to create memory, but structured enough to stay consistent.
Why should learners mix understanding with memory practice?
Deep understanding and reliable recall reinforce each other when both are trained intentionally.